welcome to the Application Delivery How-To video series. My name is Brandon Anderson. Today we're going to cover the topic of how to patch JSON files. What is the patch utility? It's a Python script that is a part of the AOB SDK and is in the Avi-tools Docker container. It's used to complete bulk changes to the migration tool generated JSON files. Great use cases for it are disabling virtual services and enabling traffic in order to quickly enable virtual services from the application dashboard, enabling route health injection if you're migrating from an L2 virtual service to a BGP-enabled virtual service, changing load balancing algorithms, and adding persistence profiles to your pools, or enabling exported for in your application profile. Some patch file options. Patch files define the object you would like to modify. There are several matching options you can use depending on your use case. Match by wildcard, which matches all objects of the same type. Match an object by name. Match a list of objects. Match objects by regex. Examples of objects you can modify through patch are on the right side of the screen. A few of them are virtual services, VSVIPs, tenants, pools, application profiles, network profiles, etc. Some patch file examples are match all virtual services, disable them and enable traffic. And in the second example, match all virtual services and enable route health injection. Some pool patch file examples would be match all pools and change their current VRF to a production VRF and the persistence profile to a JSON persistence. The second example is matching a list of pools, matching production pool 1 and 2 and updating their load balancing algorithm to consistent hash based off a source IP and port. To run through the entire process, you can start and enter the Avi-tools Docker container, create a patch file with the desired config updates, run the migration tool to generate the JSON file, run the patch utility to patch that. After you run that patch utility, you're going to have a JSON.patched file generated. You need to convert that JSON.patched file back to Ansible using the Avi config to Ansible script. After you run that, you're going to have a file called avi_config.yaml. You can then push that patched Ansible playbook to your Avi controller using the Ansible-playbook command. Moving over to our text editor, you can see that I have a patch file defined. The object we want to patch is a virtual service. We're going to match name with a wildcard, so I'm matching all virtual services. And for our patch, we're going to change traffic enabled to true and enable RHI to true. I'm going to start off with checking to see if my Docker container is running, which it is. I'm going to enter the Docker container with the docker exec-it Avi-tools bash command. Then I'm going to move into the correct directory. I'm going to run the migration tool to generate our JSON file. And while that's running, let me define this command. F5 converter, calling the script -f for the file name, the bigip.conf file name, -- controller version with the Avi version that I'm running. We want the Ansible output, the output directory -o we want to generate as migration to put all the files in. We're going to call the --vs filter flag to just grab one of the virtual services out of that bigip.conf, and the -- custom config calls a file that has the converted iRules into policies or data scripts. You can see that we now have the migration folder with the create object and the delete object playbooks. Looking at this playbook, you can see that traffic enabled is set to false and there is no route health injection parameter. I'm going to go ahead and now patch that file with the config patch.py, calling the JSON file with a -c and the -p for the patch file. You can see that we now have a JSON.patched file. We need to go ahead and convert that patched JSON file back to Ansible using the Avi config to Ansible.py, calling the patched JSON file, and we have to call the controller version again, which was 21.1.4. You can now see that we have the Avi_config.yaml. moving that over to this side so we can compare. You can now see that traffic is enabled where it was false before, and we have route health injection enabled where it was not there before. We can go ahead and push that patched Ansible playbook to our controller using the Ansible -playbook, calling the file name -e for extra vars, the controller IP address, the username, and the password. You can see that our profiles are being created, our health monitor, and you can see that our virtual service has been created. As I move over to Avi, you can see that the virtual service is disabled, the traffic is enabled, and route health injection has been enabled. Thanks for watching. Please check out our other videos in our application how to delivery series.